Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to another
Hi.
edition of Urban Central Live. I'm your host, Reggie Kearney, and tonight, all the way from H-Town, Houston, Texas, we got LaShonda, the girl, Schofield. What's up?
Hey, Reggie. How are you? How are
How you doing
you?
tonight?
I'm doing great. I'm doing great.
Good,
It's a pleasure
good.
to be joined with you.
Well, I appreciate you taking time out of your busy schedule to spend some time with us, and my listeners and viewers tonight. So we're just gonna, just have some fun. Gonna talk about
Yeah.
you and what you're doing at this time. So hey, let's go ahead and get started.
All
So
right.
tell me something. Tell me something about yourself.
I am LaShonda DatGurl Schofield. DatGurl is my songwriter pseudonym. I was born in a town called Valdosta, Georgia. Big up to Valdosta. And I am currently working on my official EP project. I've been singing for a very, very long time, and I am now at a point in my career where I am about to see the fruits of my labor come to fruition, and that is in the form of my baby, my first official EP project titled Salt and Sugar. It's been a journey, and I am super, super, super excited.
Great, great, great. So look, tell me, what got you hooked on singing? What was the catalyst that got you started in the profession of singing?
Well, I've been singing since the age of 3. So it's really been a part of my DNA from the very, very beginning. My mother took an interest in the fact that this 3-year-old kid had a voice, and I have to credit her for nurturing that gift. And by the time I was 11 years old, I developed the knack for songwriting. And I really just enjoyed the melody aspects of songwriting. I was the kid that would consistently read liner notes because I wanted to be in the know of who was involved in these projects, who the background singers were. So I grew up listening to a lot of the 80s, 90s R&B artists like Shaka Khan, Anita Baker, Atlantic Stars, Barbara Weathers, Sharon Bryant. And just, all of those 80s influences were just really a part of my DNA. Melba Moore was a big influence of mine. And I wanted to sound like them. I wanted to emulate the sound. And so I was really a student. And during those years, I was like a sponge. I was just taking it in, taking it in.
Oh, you left out Parliament, Funkadelic, Ohio Players, Lakeside, Barcades, and all those guys.
Now, don't get it wrong. Now I have to credit my dad because he
Mhm.
was really big into funk, and he also gave me the rock elements of what I love. But no, don't get it wrong. Parliament
Mhm.
Funkadelic. Actually, I used to think that was my dad on the cover because my dad had the really stylish boots, back in
Uh-huh.
the day, and um, wore his hair in the afro. And yeah, I grew up on all of that stuff, like most kids of the 80s generation. You couldn't go to a parent's home and not have a set of vinyl records greeting you at the door.
Yeah.
So if you didn't get it at your house, you were
Mhm.
certainly getting it at a neighbor's house or a relative's house. So it music was all around me, and I literally just would spend hours and hours. Just I don't know if that's a norm for a kid, but I would
Mhm.
spend endless hours just putting on vinyls and just getting lost in the music.
You know, I'm a funk man. I enjoy my stuff. 'Cause, like when I'm in the gym, I have this app where I be listening to Funkadelic, Parliament, and all the other funk from the '80s and '70s and '80s. I really enjoyed it.
Now I
Uh,
like Brothers Johnson too.
oh
Did you
yeah,
like?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
I
ain't we
love them too.
funkin' now?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
And
I
you be
enjoyed
funking
that.
like you like it.
That's right. That's right. Then tell me, how did you get hooked on? I know when we talked earlier, songwriting. How did you get hooked on songwriting? And who are some of the people you've written songs for?
I got hooked on it literally just being a student and lover of music. You know, I would just sit by myself and I would craft melodies, and I try to come up with very melodic, passages. You know, really just being a student of words, coming up with imperfect rhyming schemes. I would listen to a lot of rap lyrics, to get inspiration. But my very first artist that I wrote for, who had a very successful career in the business, was a gentleman by the name of Ryan Toby. You may remember him from Sister Act, as well as from the R&B group City High. So during the time in between Sister Act and City High, I was writing songs for him.
Okay, okay.
Mm-hmm.
And as far as doing the entertainment thing, um, I know been kind of rough here with the virus out. So how was your entertainment journey going before this virus hit us?
Before the lockdown, I was doing shows, and I was, really excited and energized about, because I love interacting with the audience. There's something very freeing about live performances. So I was just ramping up to do some dates in the Houston area, and then I was going to take it out to the California area and do some dates there. And then COVID happened, and, like most people, it caught us all off guard. But I took it as an opportunity to reset, because while I wasn't performing, I utilized my time to write and to record. So I wanted to make sure that I was still staying on task and staying focused on what the overarching goal was, and that was to make sure that I produced music. Free to Love is a song that I came out with. It's Afrobeat R&B song, and right before the lockdown, I had taken the principal photography for it, and I was ready to go. So I was able to release my single in 2020.
Okay, good, good, good. That
Mm-hmm.
sounds good. But have you thought about doing like a live streaming concert via the
Yes.
internet?
Yes. Actually, I'm going to partner with a venue in the Houston area. It's called Wayne Street Live,
Okay.
and they have a similar platform. I will be there in person, obviously, but the performance would be live streamed on Facebook and Instagram. So I'll be doing that soon.
Oh,
And
okay.
looking into some other venues to do
Hmm.
virtually. Yeah. COVID-19 doesn't stop the show. It's just really about finding unique and safe ways to perform.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I know back in the fall, Mars Day and the time, they did a concert, the Corona Funk concert. Uh,
Hmm.
it was like $20, and it was like three groups on there. It was pretty good. It was pretty good. I enjoyed it. You know,
It's really just about being innovative and just
yeah,
finding, unique ways to reach your audience.
right. Well, I
Yeah.
think right now you have to be very innovative. You have to be an innovator because of the fact, so much stuff is closed down. I mean, here in the
Yeah.
DC area, we have a lot of venues, as you know, for
Yes.
small concerts, and those places have been closed.
Yeah.
They've literally been shut down. They can't do anything. So hopefully, with the vaccine, is out there and people are taking the vaccine. Hopefully, going into the fall and the winter, or at least
Right.
by 2022, these venues are open back up and entertainers will be able to get back into the groove of things.
Amen. Amen.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah, so people don't realize it affect. No, it doesn't just affect the entertainer. It affects everybody
Hmm.
who works with the entertainer. So a lot of
Oh,
people
yeah.
right
A
now.
lot of people that work behind the scenes have been impacted
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's really about, like I said, finding unique spaces but doing it in a safe manner, because you still have to hire, the drummer, the keyboardist, you still have to rehearse with everybody, and the singer isn't masked,
Right.
So just really still trying to find safe spaces and be safe about it.
Right.
That's the main thing.
I'm pretty sure you would not sound good with a mask on trying to sing a song.
I could try it. I've actually tried it at home.
Right.
It's probably not the best sound.
Right.
Yeah, it's a little muffled.
That's right. So, are you in the recording studio now, recording music and laying down some tracks and things of that nature?
I have, during this season, I have worked at the major recording facilities here in the Houston area, but right now I am recording myself.
Okay.
I have empowered myself to learn that aspect of recording engineering. And so I've been able to do that successfully. Thank you, Jesus. And I've been recording myself at home, and what basically just utilizing the commercial software. I use Logic for those who know the recording engineering side of things, and just making sure I get a really good sonic quality sound. And then I work with some phenomenal recording mixing engineers, and so it's really just about getting that raw vocal, and then transferring the files over, everything in the virtual space. That's the beauty about music in the 21st century, is we can utilize the virtual space to exchange ideas. So that's pretty much what I've been doing. I've been working very hard getting this EP ready.
Yeah. My daughter, she uses Pro Tools and Logic.
Pro Tools is another good one. That's an industry staple as well. Yeah, it's really just a matter of, I think, preference.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So I've learned all that stuff from her.
Yeah, it's important stuff. It's important stuff.
Most definitely. Most definitely. Have you been able to sing with any of the top musicians, singers in this country? If so, who's some of them been?
I had the fortune to sing with my sister, who is Tasha Larae. She is a recording artist, a deep soul house artist. She's also the former member of Arrested Development. And she and I got together and we co-wrote on her first album called Tasha Larae. And I'm actually featured on a song called Light Up the World. Yeah.
When you gonna sing with Beyonce? When you Beyonce gonna hit that?
Hey, I'm about manifesting. I would love to sing with Beyonce. I'm putting it out in the atmosphere right now. Beyonce, if you're listening, I would love to collaborate with you. So I'm in Houston. Holla.
That's what I'm going to say. Houston's
I'm
a
in
hometown.
Yeah. I love Beyonce. I think she's a very strong influence on Black women, on young girls around the world, and it would be an honor to work with her.
Oh yeah, most definitely. So you say that some of your mentors or some of the people of influence and people who inspire you, like Melba Moore and Shaka Khan and some of the older artists and everything. How did that come about? Other than listening, what parts of them influence you? Styles, voice, or whatever.
The power in their voice, being able to sustain notes. Like Melba is famous for sustaining notes. So really, just being trying to parrot what they did, what they do. I was the kid who would listen to their voices on records over and over again, and I would just practice and try to have the same cadence and phrasings. If you listen to a lot of my stuff, I would say out of all the singers, though, you can hear a lot of Barbara Weathers. I don't know what it was about her voice in particular, but a lot of her phrasings, they tend to come out. Another singer, she was actually more so known as a background singer, but her name is Lisa Keith. She did a lot of work on the Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis productions. And again, that's another voice that when I listen to some of the songs that I've released, I can hear her voice in some of those recordings because I would listen to those singers. It was just, I don't know, it's just osmosis, I guess. You listen to them, they just start to become a part of you. And I grew up during the MTV and BET and VH1 era, where videos were very prevalent. They were everywhere, you know. So not only did I come up during a time when vinyl was popular, but CDs were popular, music videos were popular. So it's like, how can you not get some of that inside of your soul? And Tina Marie is another one, you know. I would sing her songs and I would sing them to people. And I had one friend of mine, he said, babe, come here. He's talking to his wife. He was like, come here. She said, what? He said, okay, sit down, close your eyes. She's like, why am I closing my eyes? He said, just do it. Close your eyes. I'm going to have her sing something from Tina Marie. And I performed it and she was like, wow, yeah, you do kind of sound like her. So I take it as a compliment. I take it as a compliment.
You know, I was talking to Chris Jasper one time, formerly with the Isley Brothers.
Yes.
And we were just talking about how things have changed as far as technology is concerned. And you had just mentioned how you were able to sit down and, you know, enjoy life with the vinyl records and things of that nature and CDs. And I mean, I got a bag full of CDs now and vinyl. And I really think the industry has changed. So what's your feeling on the industry change when it comes to just basic downloads now? Because him and I were discussing, how do entertainers earn their money now? Because I mean, one time you had to buy the whole CD or you had to buy the whole album. Now you can, people can download your music whether they pay for it or not. What are your thoughts on that, you know?
Yeah, we've definitely turned a page. And I think when you open Pandora's box, it's kind of hard to close it. But I want to believe that over time, legislation will be put in place to protect artists like us, you know, to ensure that we're properly being compensated. But most importantly, putting out good quality music, I think, is always going to be at the forefront, and making sure that it's not just about the one soundbite single. You know, people aren't really putting out a body of work like they used to. And I think maybe if we get back to the basics of, you know, putting out this body of work, that people will appreciate that and want to have it. You know, there was a time when people took pride in getting the artwork and receiving the liner notes and, you know, taking part in the production process. So even though we're in this electronic age, like, I try to always make sure that I highlight the folks behind the scenes, because I don't do this by myself. So when I create artwork, I try to make sure that I incorporate, you know, who was the producer, who was the sound engineer, who mastered it. You know, all of those players are important. But we have changed. It has gone and morphed into this other direction. I don't really know if there's that one magic response to that, except that if people really honor and want to see us continue to do what we do, there has to be some changes legislatively to support the arts.
Look, would you say that entertainers have gotten lazy to a certain point because, like I said, back in the day, you had to release a whole album, okay, about 12 songs. You had to do a whole CD. Now they would drop one song on, download one song on the EP, then they might go 6-7 months before they finally finish the album, but they at least got one song out, give you space. I'm old school. I want to hear the whole album. I don't want, cause I might forget in 6-7 months that I just heard this single 7 months ago. And then you're coming up with the the EP, the full EP. How you feel about it? What do you think about that?
I think because there's a lot of independent artists out now versus artists on major labels, that may have contributed to the lag in how the music is distributed. Because there's really no structure and there's no one really forcing you and telling you have to have this out by a certain time. So I think having structure in what you do is very important, and that's why for me, like, if I say I'm going to put out the EP project, put out the EP project. Don't delay it. I don't think you should oversaturate the market. I think there should be some balance. But yeah, I would have to agree with you on that. I think a lot of artists just kind of put out music at their own pace. And the problem with that is if you really like that artist, you're like, give me more. Where's the rest of it? You know what I mean? So it's building up that momentum in an organic way, but then giving the audience, the listener, what they came for,
Now, are you an independent artist or are you on a record label?
I am an independent artist. And I just lost my little earpiece. Hold on. I am independent. I have my own label, 309 Music Group.
Oh, okay.
So I am independent, and it's such a freeing place to be.
Okay, so that's what that 309 I was looking at on Instagram. Okay. Well, my boy Prince, he was a true believer in having control over your artistic work. He felt that was very important. Because hey, you get your catalog and it's hard to get it back. So he definitely believed that. Then Michael Campbell got a question. He said, "Does YouTube hurt the business?"
No, well, in terms of the artist, it doesn't hurt the artist because they're able to monetize, their art. I think it's just another avenue to get it out. I'm certainly a proponent for it. I have my music on YouTube as well. And I don't think it hurts the business. I mean, it certainly doesn't. I probably need to have more information to fully answer the question, but I think from an artist's perspective, it's certainly a benefit. Yeah.
Well, maybe, like I said, one day you might be able to make money off this song. You might be able to, do YouTube concerts. Now, another, my fraternity brother, Derek Terry, he says he wants to eventually talk to you about doing a fundraiser.
Yeah, please reach out to me, DM me, Derek. I would love to be a part of that.
Yeah.
Wow.
So that would be something great.
Yeah.
Hopefully, maybe if we can turn the corner on this virus, you might be able to come up here and do it live.
I would love to be able to do it live or virtually. We can work something out on that front. So it's about being creative.
That's right. So I'll definitely give you. I'll hook y'all up together. So y'all
Thank you, Derek.
So, what advice would you give to a young person? I know you and I talked about my daughter. I need to push her to do her thing. What kind of advice would you give a young person? Person younger than you, because I know you're 20 something. But what kind of advice?
I love you, Reggie.
So, what advice would you give a young person trying to get into the industry?
The very first thing I would say to a young person is believe in yourself. That is foremost. That's paramount. Believe in yourself. Secondly, I would say learn the business, because it is a business. I think a lot of people try to hopscotch and go straight to the art aspect of things. And that is secondary, because the business aspect needs to be handled first. So if you know the business, then when you walk into rooms, when you're in certain collaborative situations, you won't be taken advantage of. So that's very, 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 very important.
Now, tell me something. Yeah, and I kind of got this from my daughter. Like when
Okay.
she's worked with a number of recording studios here in the DC area, and her
Mhm.
main complaint was that the male recording engineers always had a fear of her and her style and her ability to get the job done, because a lot of them would think that she was, not qualified to do the job. But then
Mhm.
a lot of times when there were times when she would overperform, and it would be like, kind of shocked, because it was like, she was trying to run over top of them, but she wasn't. She's just like
She's
that.
being herself. Yeah.
Yeah, just being herself. So how do you feel about, uh, males, men sometimes looking at you and saying, hey, where did you learn to do that at, or questioning your ability because you're doing what you're doing and you excel
Mhm.
at a high level? So
Mhm.
what's your answer to that?
I mean, my thing is they're going to say and, have their own opinions about a lot of things.
Mm-hmm.
But you show up in the room and you do what you do in the spirit of excellence. You let your work speak for itself, and everything else is secondary. It doesn't matter. What you think about me is none of my business.
Mm-hmm.
So I try, at least for me,
Right.
I try to filter out that background noise. And people will see and honor good quality work regardless of your gender.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I know that it's primarily male dominated, but that's even more reason to shake it up a bit and bring in some diversity.
Right.
So, yeah, I shut out the outside noise.
Okay. Okay. That's the
Yeah,
way to do it. That's the way to do it.
that's right.
So how do you enjoy doing video shoots?
Oh my gosh. Okay, so I had my first video shoot for Free to Love. I'm getting ready to drop that video soon. And it was a very, very enlightening process. I'm getting ready to do it one more time again on February 13th for a song that I'm releasing called No Grown Boys Allowed. And I love it. It's an extension of performing. It's an extension of taking photographs. To me, they're kind of all intermingled, because it's art, it's a creative expression. And at first, I was like, how am I going to look on camera? But once I got past that part, I was like,
Mm-hmm.
hey, this is kind of fun. I get to play dress up, I get to get into character, I get to perform the song. So right now I'm in the planning stages. I'm working with a filmmaker. His name's Thomas Guerrero, and he's out of the Houston, Texas area. And I'm going to be working with him on my first video.
Okay.
I
Hey.
mean, I'm sorry, my second video. Second
Oh,
video.
okay. Okay.
Yeah.
My marketing guy Ernest said tell you hi.
Hi, Ernest. Oh, Ernest and we were chatting via DM. We
Mm-hmm.
discovered we're both from Valdosta.
Well, okay.
Hi, Ernest. He
Okay.
said from Val. That's
Yeah, from
right.
there. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Look,
Small
I
world.
told him we probably know the same people, or our
Hmm.
parents went to school together or
Right.
something, because it's not that big.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It's not
Yeah,
too many people from that area.
yeah. Now, so tell me about your future. What does your future hold? What does your future hold for
Yeah.
that girl? The
Ah,
girl.
my future My future is bright. I see, I tell people it's like I've seen the credits of my movie in my mind. So in my mind, I've already attached myself to the feeling of having an armful of Grammys, holding them in my arms like babies, And I see my work in countless films, commercials. I see me doing modeling. I see me acting and doing television in some capacity. And yeah, I see a bright future.
So you're speaking it into the atmosphere.
That is correct. Yeah, I believe in manifesting your goals and your dreams, and I've done that all my life, actually. Whether I could attach a word to it or not, when I think back on my life in hindsight, that's exactly what I was doing. So I would formulate a thought in my mind, and then it would happen. So I don't have any reason to doubt that what I just told you will happen.
Well, I'm glad that I know you. Definitely keeping up with you. I know this won't be the last time we're going to talk.
Absolutely not.
For our listeners and viewers tonight, you will get to learn a little more about LaShonda in next month's edition of the Urban Sentinel magazine. We did an article on her. So you'll be able to, what tidbits you didn't get tonight, you'll be able to get them in the February edition of the Urban Sentinel. And I want you to go out and buy a copy of the Urban Sentinel when it hits the streets on February the 1st, online at issue.com. Well, LaShonda, DatGurl.
Yeah.
It's been great talking to you now. I really appreciate you taking time out to sit down with me tonight to talk about your career, talk about music, talk about what's going on in your life. I know my listeners and viewers appreciate it, and I really appreciate it too.
Reggie, thank you so much for having me tonight. Thank you so much for supporting my artistry. It means the world to me. So thank you so much. And I thank the viewers for tuning in to us and listening to us tonight. It's an honor. It's an honor of my life, and I really appreciate it from the bottom of my heart.
Thank you. Thank you. And, to be honest with you, I've been toying with the idea of, trying to put on some shows, via, different venues, technology wise, charging a small fee, so I'm still playing around with that. But whenever I do get around to it, you're definitely on my list.
Come on with it.
On my list, okay? On my list. It's definitely on my list. So to my viewers and listeners, you've been, this has been a sit down on Urban Sentinel Live tonight with LaShonda DatGurl Schofield. She's a singer and songwriter from Houston, Texas, H-Town in the house. A brilliant singer, great singer, great entertainer. And I know we're going to hear great things from her. And she's going to be doing her thing, So when you hear that name again, and when you see her videos, remember you heard her first on Urban Sentinel Live. I know she's been on interviews. I'm just one of the little people she's sit down and interview with. Now, for all you guys that like the news, tomorrow night, I want you to join me and Sherry-Ann Tappert tomorrow night on Real World News TV. That's our Tuesday night show where we sit down and talk about the news of the day. But tomorrow night, we're going to be talking about crazy news, weird news. We're going to just lighten it up because last couple of weeks, last couple of months has been really tough in the news. And I think sometimes we just got to get away from the serious stuff and find some of the non-serious stuff to just talk about, be able to laugh and have a good time. So if you're not busy tomorrow night on Facebook, like the page, Real World News TV. We'll be hitting the air at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So come and join us again tomorrow night for an hour of fun news, okay? But like I get to say it again, I'm Reggie Kearney of Urban Sentinel Live, publisher and editor of the Urban Sentinel magazine, along with my guest, LaShonda DatGurl Schofield. We want to say good night, peace and love. Have a good one, and I'll see you next Monday night on Urban Sentinel Live. Again, thank you, LaShonda.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Okay, bye-bye.